Final Engineering Project by Evan Davis,
Tamlin Cermak Surface,
Jeremy Butler,
and Ariana Taylor.
Defining the problem.
For our E101 project, we needed to build an arcade game that was fun, creative, and also interesting. We had to work with a $40 budget, and we needed to make sure that we worked together to make a fully functional arcade game. Our design also required 4 different actions to be completed and performed within the game.
Searching for different solutions.
Our next step was to search for solutions. We originally had 2 different designs. One design involved using a series of ramps to try and get it into a hole, and the other design used a bat to knock it into the holes. We wanted to stay away from your typical Pac-Man or pinball. We had to work with a time constraint of a few weeks, and we couldn't have over $40, so that's what we used.
Narrowing the selections.
For our narrow and select part of the design process, we definitely encountered some problems. Limited resources coupled with time constraints with getting bottles and molding the tracks led us to our final decision. Our 4 actions included a spring, elastic, gravity, and human interaction. One must be skilled in areas like applying enough pressure for a desired movement, handling the bat, and aiming.
Building the product. So for the building process, we use materials like plywood, nails, rubber bands, and then a hex bolt, springs, and washers to make our homemade plunger. We also used wooden dowels. For the box, we dimensioned pieces of plywood and cut them out. Then we put them together using nails. We cut the dowels to make places for the rubber bands. And then for our homemade plunger, we took the hex bolt, added the 2 springs and some washers, and then put another bolt on the end to act as a head. We then took the drill press to cut out all the holes in the boards, and also we took the screw saw to make the slot for the bat. We then had to get a marble so that we could play with, and overall it took us a little over 5 hours to construct.
Decorations. For decorating, we spray painted and added designs. We also painted wooden letters and shapes and glued them on for extra decorations. Designs were drawn up for the side panels and used as stencils and later copied and painted onto the game. Duct tape was used to round off some corners and keep the marble from getting stuck in inaccessible places. Duct tape was also used to make a pouch at the bottom to catch the marble as it rolled down.
Testing and refining.
When we finally got to Fed Day, we ran into a few problems. Of course, hindsight is 2020. The biggest thing we could have realized was if we had made the bat a little farther up where it could have spun 360 degrees, the game would have been a little bit easier to play. If the ball had been a little bit bigger, it wouldn't have gotten stuck as easily, like in certain spots where it was like in a little corner or something like that. Finally, there was a spot in the middle level of the board where the ball would actually get stuck if it hit in one of the 100 level point areas. Looking back, we did a lot of good things with this, but there were a lot of things we could have improved upon.
On design day, we saw a lot of areas that we could have improved upon for our games and things we could have done better and things that we liked if we would ever do this project again. Overall, our game seemed to be a lot of fun and people really seemed to enjoy participating and playing with it. It took a bit of skill and a bit of learning on how to use the bat and how to work with the game and to know the best methods for scoring. So that was one thing that worked in our advantage and also in our disadvantage. It was a creative game, but it took a while to understand the best ways to play the game. Our final score was 5 points away from perfect score, and we were 2 points away from honorable mention. Overall, we see 5th place on Fed Day. So overall, we enjoyed working on the project together and learning and seeing what we could do creatively when we put our minds together. We worked to find a solution to a problem, even as simple as making a different type of arcade game.